Hello, welcome back to another video. Stephen here, of course, on, what day is it? It's this Tuesday evening at 21:37. It's 20 to 10, nearly cowboy time. And we're going to talk about Manchester City and football and all the topics that have come out across the World Wide Web today in internet land. What am I on about? Anyway, it's good to see you all here already. Thank you so much for joining in. People keep noticing I'm wearing a fleece a lot. I'm wearing a fleece a lot because of the utility bills cost, and I don't want to put the heating on because it's bloody expensive, and it's also a little bit cold up here, so I'm constantly wearing this fleece. I'm not just leaning into dad life, I'm just trying to save some energy. I had like 3 or 4 comments about it. Anyway, hello to everyone. I would like to say, if you don't mind, before we get into this video, please do and go download OneFootball. OneFootball is absolutely fantastic. It is the place for all your football information. All you got to do is scan that QR code or click the link in the description below. All the goals, all the players, all the teams down in one place. Over 10 million people have used it. And you can get all your Manchester City transfer gossip. There's so much City transfer gossip right now. You can get it on your phone, sent straight to your phone. So when you sat there and you should be paying attention, you get the notification so you can have a quick look so you're not missing out on big news and all that kind of stuff. And it's a very good app. I've been using it for like 5 years, which sounds crazy, but it's actually true. Download OneFootball, help support my channel. Scan that QR code and it'll download, or click the link in the description, and job is good to do it. It's as beautiful as Erling Haaland scoring a goal in Manchester City's gorgeous new kit, this one. Love you all, absolutely loads. So yeah, today I want to talk about Sterling. I want to talk a little bit about Zinchenko, Nathan Ake, baby. Of course, a little bit about Khaldoon, and anything you guys want to talk about. I'll probably go for about 20 odd minutes, have a little bit of a chat or so on. I was up for a bit of a chat, so I jumped on. That's what happened. It'll start off with a super chat. Legand, James saying, off to Hampden Park tomorrow to hopefully see Zinchenko lose as Scotland takes another step towards World Cup. I'm so sorry, mate. You are literally the enemies of the world right now, given what Ukraine are going through. You are Scottish, so I'll allow it. But I ultimately, I'm sorry, mate. I'm not sure I can share those sentiments. I wouldn't be disappointed for Scotland if they went through. Although they wouldn't like me being English and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the game, mate. I hope you enjoy the game. So the main topic of this video, of course, is about Sterling. Now we all know the Sterling situation. I'll give it a little bit of an overview. So Sterling has 1 year left on his contract. Manchester City want him to stay, reportedly. We've offered him a contract. He hasn't agreed to it. And I don't think this is actually down to money. I don't think it's down to money. I actually think it's down to him feeling like he's not actually guaranteed to start at the moment, which, if we're being totally honest, is true. Now, the reason he's not guaranteed to start is simply because I presume his form just hasn't been good enough over the past year or two. I don't think he's been terrible, but I think his form has definitely dipped from the standards that he set himself a couple of years back. Now, people always do this thing, by the way. They always do this thing where they presume Sterling has always been naff. It's just not true. Sterling at one point, look, I'm gonna try and get it up on screen. People were talking about Sterling and in this kind of level. I'll jump over to here now so you guys can see it. Hang on. So I'll jump over here. These were the kind of headlines that you were getting. Like, Sterling could match Lionel Messi and Cristiano, he was getting all these kind of crazy headlines a while back. He genuinely was. Because he was scoring a shit ton of goals. And that was the thing. When you score that many goals and you do that well and you look at his stupid stats, and I'll go over to his Wikipedia now and have a quick show of that if you can get it on the screen. People rightfully put him as one of the best forwards in world football because he was one of the best forwards in world football. Once again, back over here, there's his stats there. He got 25 in 50, in 51, 31 in 32. And 52, and then things dropped a little bit. 14 and 17 still wasn't bad for what it's worth. But he was going upwards, and then he slowed down. Why did he slow down? Did he become a bad player overnight? No, to be honest, it felt like things changed when Sergio Aguero left. It honestly felt like the advent of the false nine system, to me, meant Sterling's form dropped. I honestly believe that it was simple as that. I do think it was simple as that. I think the system we were playing anymore didn't necessarily support him. It didn't support his game style. Now, maybe he just lost it. English players are overrated. I don't think that's actually necessarily true, mate. This is not an English thing. Everyone says that to me. Someone said that to me earlier on Twitter. I wouldn't give a shit if he was Indian, Pakistani, Uzbekistani, Paraguayan, American, Canadian, Japanese, Australian, Korean. I wouldn't care where he was from. I wouldn't care about all these things. It's nothing to do with the fact he's English for me. It isn't. And Mr. saying, I do agree, by the way, your comment at Super Chat. I'll get up very briefly. It says, you stay away from Madrid, unforgiving. I'll get onto that in a minute, mate. I'll get onto that in a minute, definitely. But it's nothing to do with the fact he's English. To me, it's because I think he was a good player. Technically, Sterling is Jamaican. Well, he is Jamaican. There's a thing for you. I honestly think he's just lost his confidence in this Manchester City side. And the reason I want him back is I just know and can sense it in my blood that as soon as he's back alongside a striker like Haaland, the space that he gets because defenders are drawn to the striker and he gets back on the right and he's chipping crosses into the back post like he did for Gundogan the other day against Aston Villa, he's going to create so many more goals and score many. He's going to find his confidence again because he hasn't got the weight of the world on his shoulders. I can't prove that. And I can't prove that you're wrong, and I can't prove that I'm right, but that's just my instinct. And I think there is a player there still, and I think the player that can find his very best form. And he's had some good games this season. Liverpool, he tore them to pieces in one of the games in particular. He was excellent against them. But Mr. Who they're saying anyway said he should stay away from Madrid, unforgiving. Yes. So the reports today suggest that Madrid and other clubs are keeping an eye on him. Will this happen? Look, honestly, I don't think he'll go to Madrid. That's my genuine opinion here. But the report suggested that, so I'm going to discuss it anyway. Another super chat as well. It says from Danny, any updates on Cucurella or when Haaland will be announced? Hope you're doing well. Will you be in the States to see City versus Bayern in July? Would love to meet you. Danny, I won't be, mate. I can't afford it. The flights alone, accommodation. I'm looking over $1,000. And I just don't have that money, unfortunately, mate. I've got a baby on the way. So I would love to be in America, but I just can't afford it. Unless City somehow come over here and do some videos of us, which is probably not going to happen. Sadly, I won't be. No updates on Cucurella and no updates on Haaland. The Haaland, of course, I thought it might happen today or yesterday, but then as soon as the chairman's interview dropped, that was never going to happen. They weren't going to crowd it. I'm very good though, mate. And thank you so much for the super chats. Really appreciate it, pal. But yeah, I think Haaland, I don't know. I think it could be this week. This is not information, by the way. I've got no idea. Genuinely no idea. I just think it might be this week. It could be this week. It could be after. It could be July the 1st. No idea. But I think everything's probably ready now. So yeah, on to Sterling. Look, for me, I honestly believe he isn't good when he's asked to be the main man and main goal scorer. And I think we got so frustrated. I think we got so frustrated by his missed chances because they cost us, and obviously that makes sense. But what I'm saying is I don't think these chances will matter anymore near as much as they do right now when Haaland's here and Alvarez is here, because he scores chances anyway, and we're already 2-0 up at this point. And I think what Sterling's very good at doing is killing the games. Of course he'll get the first goal sometimes, but I honestly think it'll happen. So basically, I think he should stay. I think he should stay. I think he'll revel in it. I understand at the same time that Man City will not be thoroughly happy about the idea of him running down his contract for a year, because he's a prime asset. And people saying acting like 27 years old, it isn't. In football these days, he's got 5 years left. He really has at the highest level. The teams that are interested, allegedly, Real Madrid, Barca, apparently, Bayern are keeping an eye on him. Someone mentioned Chelsea at one point, Atletico. Look, I don't know who would go for him. I can't see Barca affording him. I can't see Bayern going for him. Maybe Chelsea appeals to him, if that was a thing. I don't really know. Obviously, they'll change how they play a little bit. He's got a lot in his basket then. What I'm hoping as a dream scenario is that he stays for a year. He actually gets back into the team because he's loving life and he suits playing with Haaland. He suits playing with wingers. You've got Foden on the left maybe, Sterling on the right, Haaland in the middle. Here I am, stuck in the middle with Haaland. And he's basically just banging him across the goal and he's scoring loads. And Sterling's at his very best, by the way, when he's getting to the back post tap-ins. So you'll score a shit ton of tap-ins. He creates loads of chances for everyone else. He beats people. I think that's what I hope happens. He gets in the team and he goes, you know what, I'm going to stay. And he finds his best form, scores 25 goals again, and we're all happy. So there we go. That's what I think might happen. Will it happen? I don't know. That's what I want to happen. As it is, I think the Sterling issue is a relatively interesting one. I don't think City want him to leave if Jesus is going to go, and I think Jesus might go. I think Jesus is almost certain to go. Mahrez is an interesting one. I feel like with Mahrez, I wouldn't be surprised if he just runs his contract down for another year, which creates a problem. Palmer, for me, Palmer's slow. Robert Robinson. Cole Palmer's faster than Mahrez, mate. Cole Palmer is deceptively fast. People don't quite realise about Cole Palmer that he beats people one-on-one for fun. He's got really fast acceleration. I've watched enough and know Cole Palmer that he skinned people. And I'm not saying he's Leroy Sané fast, but he's faster than you realise, Cole Palmer. Trust me on that, pal. Honestly, trust me on that. Like, I watched him in training. Like, I've not actually watched him. I've seen the training bits where he's rinsing people like John Stones with acceleration and burst of space. He actually, genuinely, he beats people really well. He's not like Sterling on the counter fast. No, of course he's not. But I think, honestly, he's a bit faster than you realise. But to me, Cole Palmer is Riyad Mahrez' future replacement. And that's some reports going around today. So for Sterling, I don't know. If he goes, we need a replacement. We need Rafael Leao or something like that. And, someone said, Stephen, you speak to Man City links. I haven't gotten any scouting links like that, pal. Sorry, pal. I just know a couple of two people in the media side, but that's it, really. I can't really help you. Did we talk about why he wants to leave, Johnny? I did. I think it's mainly just because it's game time. It's not guaranteed at the moment. I don't think it's anything to do with that or anything to do with anything deeper than that. Sorry, I think it's game time maybe. I don't think some of the clubs that he's been linked to would actually turn his head that much. I think he'd rather just be at Manchester City. I just think he wants to play, and maybe it's a money thing. I think when he made his contract request, he was literally the highest goal scoring probably winger in the country, and he was one of the he was like literally banging in goals. He had like 50 odd goals in 2 seasons, and he wanted to be one of the highest paid players, rightfully so. But then his form dipped and it dipped and dipped, and it's essentially created a bit of an impasse. It's a bit of an impasse really in terms of like he was probably at one point worth what he was asking for, but then his form dipped, and now City are like, well, we can't pay you that because you're not playing that well. He's like, well, yeah, but if you don't play me, I can't show you that form again. And then City will play him, and he goes, but your form's not quite there. But he'll be like, well, it will get there. Essentially, you've got a little bit of an impasse and a bit of like heads banging together. And I think it's all cordial. I think it's all honest and well-meaning. But that's what I reckon's happening. That would be my guess. And I understand how these things can happen. So it's interesting to see, isn't it? It's interesting to see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, yeah, I agree with Mibujibi. Says I don't think he'll replace. I don't think they'll go for him in Real Madrid. They've got Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo. Rodrigo's going from strength to strength at the moment. It just doesn't feel. He likes to play Valverde on the right as well, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like something they need. But maybe they want squad depth, And I actually agree with Hussein earlier, though. He said like that will be a hell of a place for him to go. Like they are brutal. They would not take a missed chance there. We'll see. We'll absolutely see. Elsewhere, there was a little bit. I'll go through the reports. I'll jump over to one of the aggregators. Hang on. I was going to jump over here just to show you my man, Bernardo. Bernardo's wearing Birkenstocks in your face. All those you mock me for wearing sandals. Boom, Bernardo, my man. My man loves a Birkenstock. So that'll do. Anyway, that wasn't why I was coming over here. Congratulations, Bernardo. He's getting married, isn't he? Look at the happy couple. Very happy for him. Bernardo, my pal. It makes me happy though. A fellow Birkenstock wearer. Just engaged. He's loving life, Bernardo. Beautiful couple. Khaldoon, of course, is talking an awful lot. He was talking about going to America as well, which is fascinating. He talked a lot about transfers. He said a couple more after Haaland Alvarez. That is absolutely Cucurella and Phillips, by the way. So when Khaldoon talked about a couple more players, he's on about Thingy. He's on about Cucurella and Phillips. I'm certain. I'm absolutely certain. Griffin, his style's good, Bernardo, man. He dresses like an adult and they dress like little boys. So, Bernardo dressed like like an adult and they like to dress like little boys. So, but I'm a big defender of Bernardo's style personally. He looks elegant, But yeah, those other two players that were linked to intensity, it's Cucurella and Phillips. I'm absolutely certain it's those two. I do think they'll probably come in. I think they will do. I think they'll be good signings as well. Khaldoon was talking about going to America for preseason. I'm so jealous. I wish I could go to America for preseason. I just can't, honestly. I would love to go there. He's absolutely right. A bit of normality is great. I can't wait for the friendlies. I'm excited for friendlies, man. I'm excited to get up at 2 a.m. and watch a friendly. I can't wait for that, man. He would, Alfie. I agree, mate. I would. You look great in this fleece, Bernardo. But yeah, I love that there's a statue as well to Colin Bell, Francis Lee, Mike Summerby. I've met 2 of them. I never met the King, but I met Franny Lee and I met Mike Summerby. Absolutely lovely. Had photos of both of them. Legends, of course, as well. A good reminder of our... we've got this modern day history, but what the City stand for through the decades. absolutely, needs remembering. And I think we've been waiting to get to this stage of a club. Once we settled into the Etihad Stadium, of course, it was known as the City of Manchester Stadium back in the day. It's nice that now we're developing and now it feels like home. We can put up a bit of decor, you know what I mean? Decor of some of our family members that mean a lot to us. And I think that's where we're at now with the Etihad. So the comment saying we should distance ourselves from them is a joke. Honestly, really annoying me. Yeah, people will say that. Well, fuck those people, Alpha, man. Like, we shouldn't distance ourselves from them. You should always know where you came from, man. Always know where you came from. Never, ever let a part of you disappear. That means so much. So, and I love that. I love that the statues are coming there. There was some interesting thing here. Nathan Ake and Zinchenko have been told that they are free to leave the summit if Man City receive reasonable offers. That is a really clickbait tweet. I'm sorry, Freddie. It was not a clickbait tweet. It's the tweet without context. So that implies that City have gone, hey, Ake Zinchenko, you can go. No. It didn't mean that. What the actual report suggested was that City understood that if they wanted to go because they don't get enough game time, in that scenario they can go. That makes it sound like that City have said, you guys can go now, go. It's totally different. It just isn't. That wasn't the meaning at all. The actual tone was if they want to go, you're allowed to, which is a different thing to you go now. So I didn't like the tone of that tweet because it wasn't actually accurate. So for me, I don't think they will go. I think there's a genius to this, by the way. I think there's a genius to telling players that if they want to go, yeah, I agree, Paco. There's no way they've done that, man. They haven't done that. It just doesn't make sense, does it? It just seems stupid. Phillips should replace Fernandinho and we're going for 4 trophies off his step. Yeah, I agree, James. So basically for me, hello Silas, by the way. Silas Eldine. Yeah, so basically, the way I see it is what City do in these circumstances, and I think there's a real power to this and a real common sense to it as well, is City go, look, you guys, if any of you want to go at any point, go for it. They go for it. They sit back, pull out a cigar. Probably Pep does pull out a cigar. But then they go and get us the money. And they don't help him leave. But they just say, it's on you to find the deal. And we respect your wishes entirely. It's like, when a kid goes, well, I'm going to go and run away. And the parents will go, okay, all right then. And they go, I'll do it. And they go, okay, then you do it. Honestly, I will do it. And they go, okay, I'm going to run away. Okay, you do it. And I tell you what, we love you loads. And if that's your decision, you can run away. And they go, well, I'll do it later, and then they go and sit in the bedroom, and that's what happens here basically. City are calling their bluff to an extent, and I think there's a real maturity to it because then the players will know that if they can find a deal, they can go. It's also their way of saying, look, we respect you, and there's an element of that to it where then City, the players then bench. Then the kids pack the bags, walk 2 meters out before running back. Exactly, Alistair. They walk 2 meters out and they come back because they realise actually they're not going to find a club that treats them with that much humility and that much respect that Manchester City do. And it's genuinely exactly how it is, man. I swear that's how it is. And then what you get then is the players come back, and guess what Man City haven't done? Man City haven't gone, stay, we're going to pay you every single week. We promise you this amount of wages, and we promise you an increase in money, and we promise you'll play these amount of games. So when the player then does stay, guess what? And those things don't happen, they back themselves into a corner. City don't do that. We don't make any promises that we can't keep. We tell the players if they want to go, they can go. But it's on them to go, adults, find that transfer as long as it respects Manchester City. And if you want to stay and change your mind, you're here for us. We won't take it personally. We love you loads. You're welcome. Your family. And that's so fucking good. People don't understand how good that is, how they deal with things. People don't realise just how smart that is. So they see these little headlines, man. They see these little headlines and presume that City are being soft touches. They are not. They're absolutely not. They are earning the trust of these players. They are earning their respect. And that absolutely does matter. They are treating them like adults. They are making them feel wanted if they want to be here. They're making them feel loved. And I really, really like that, man. I like it. I think it's smart. I think it's savvy. And it absolutely always works as well. It does work. We told Bernardo we could go if he wanted to. No one came in. City know they wouldn't. City aren't going to try and sell him. That's not their job to do. Like, we want you here. If you want to go yourself. And that's when the players realise how hard it is, because some people just can't be arsed doing that, man. Like, they hope that the club does it for him. And it's like, can't be arsed. I'll just stay here. Can't be arsed. I'll just stay here. And that's what happens. So, yeah. So, Zinchenko and Ake, in my opinion, Ake won't go anywhere, I don't think. I agree with Sean, who said they could be smart Newcastle signings. They could be, both of them, actually. But I don't reckon. I think maybe one of them might go, but I don't know. I got a feeling they might end up staying. I saw a Galaxy Brain post on Blue Moon Forum. The idea was that, and I like this idea, and it's controversial, that the one fullback that should be going, someone said, this is controversial, was actually like Cancelo should go over to right back, and it literally should be Cucurella and Zinchenko, and then Cancelo's got a face fight with Walker, and I agree with that entirely. I absolutely agree with it, because I got a feeling we might see Walker and Cucurella, when he comes in. If he comes in, Cucurella, I feel like he could end up being first choice left back, and I think we got a bit of a rude awakening for Cancelo potentially. That's not because he's not brilliant, but I just feel like the balance. I honestly feel like that could be really interesting to pay attention to. So back over to here. Yeah, there's all the Sterling stuff. Bayern, Mane, Chelsea are monitoring. Barca after Lewandowski. All this kind of stuff. It'll be interesting. There's a bit interesting reports that Guardiola is apparently keen on giving Cole Palmer more game time on the right wing for next season. I think it was really interesting that Cole Palmer had a low key end to the season. I actually don't think he would have if he hadn't been injured. I think he would have played another 10-15 games. I think the injury was really unfortunately timed, and Guardiola's so risk averse. We know Guardiola does not like to change things unless he has to. That I think Cole Palmer essentially not being in his thoughts for 3 or 4 months sort of lost him a little bit of ground towards the end of the season. And even though Guardiola does sort of trust him, I don't think he wanted to start trusting him again, if that makes sense. He didn't want to start getting his faith in him again during the business end of the season. So I feel like it wasn't just parenting 101 from Stephen. Exactly. I'm going to be a great parent, by the way. I'm going to be a cracking dad. It's all about, I'm good at this whole psychology thing. I say that, watch a little kid run all over me. But yeah, what's going on here, Roshan Ray? Start spamming. I'm going to put you in timeout. But yeah, basically, Cole Palmer, I feel like he would have been played an awful lot towards the end of the season, and I feel like it was just a bit of bad timing for him. I do actually believe that Man City really, really rate him, and I do think Guardiola rates him. I think people don't quite realise, and they're sleeping on it a little bit, just how good Cole Palmer is, and I maintain that. Like, people have watched a lot of Cole Palmer as a false nine and free midfield, but honestly, this kid is a winger. Trust me. When he played for the academy, he was brilliant. He was a Mahrez clone. Weirdly, I think he's a Mahrez clone that could be an even better Manchester City player than Riyad Mahrez, and that's a hell of a claim. But I mean Manchester City player, not a footballer. I mean a Man City player, and you know what I mean by that, man. What a Man City player understands when to pass the ball and when to dribble. I love Riyad. I think he's been brilliant. I genuinely do think he's been brilliant. He's warmed to me so much. But I think the one thing he occasionally gets wrong is knowing when to pass and when to dribble. That's just always something that's been a little bit of a weakness of his, where instead we've got this young lad who's from literally a Man City fan and all that kind of stuff. And he's been brought up on the Manchester City way. I do believe his decision-making is much better, potentially. I honestly believe it is. I believe as a Man City player, I think Cole Palmer is potentially more suitable. And I think people don't realise how good he is. And I'm saying this from a knowledge of watching him for years. I've watched him for years, and I really, really am excited by him. I think he's an incredible finisher, a great passer, great turn of pace, great skill. I think people are going to be really surprised by how good he gets. So there's a bit of news about Sterling as well. Apparently he's going to meet after international break to have a bit of a chat. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Edison got an injury as well, which is a bit of a shame. I hope he gets a bit of a rest. Khaldoon talking about Fernandinho. He's been a remarkable player, a remarkable captain, and a remarkable leader, a fantastic individual, and he'll be missed by everyone in this organisation. I absolutely agree as well. Fernandinho is a legend, an absolute legend. Here's another interesting bit of news earlier. Juve have reignited their interest in Aymeric Laporte with a player not considered non-transferable with Man City. He's another that's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Like you see it every summer. All these players that everyone wants, everyone wants them, but they never go anywhere. It's almost like everyone wants Manchester City players. Of course they fucking do, because Manchester City players are some of the best in the world. So they link all these players to these players as a credibility thing, hoping that Man City, for some reason, just give them a freebie. It ain't gonna fucking happen. Laporte's going nowhere, lads. I like Khaldoon and Foden, a player that started as an 8-year-old. He's now 21, got 4 Premier League titles. There's not many 21-year-olds that have 4 Premier League titles. He's played a huge part, particularly in the last 2 as a 21-year-old. Yeah, he's phenomenal, man. So it was really interesting. It was really interesting to go through that news today. Who's captain next year? Asked John. Probably be Ruben Diaz, pal. I think it'll be Ruben Diaz. I think he'll get the promotion. Maybe it will be KDB, maybe Gundo. But I think Ruben Diaz will get the promotion to be captain. I'm almost certain he will be. I think we all want a picture of a 6'4" Norwegian in a blue shirt, Griffin. That's a niche. But right in Manchester, in East Manchester, that is not a niche, man. That is not a niche at all. Sean Fogarty saying Pau Torres would be a good replacement if Laporte did leave. He would be. He probably would be. But one thing I would say, if a centre-back leaves, I would rather that we just didn't spend a lot of money on a centre-back. I would rather that we actually just use one of the academy lads that we got. I know that sounds crazy. But what can I say? I'm a madman. I would genuinely like to see, Callum Doyle, Howard Bella, someone get a chance. It's never going to happen. But I don't want another 60 million, 50 million centre-back, I don't want it. I want a bargain. Maybe he'll sign someone 15 million or something like that. He'll and Bete, give him Bete a go. You know what I mean? Luke and Bete or something like that. Like I don't want to see another guy come in for 50 million. John says, "See, Diaz is the one I have in mind, but you think he'll get it even with lack of seniority?" Yeah, I think he will do. I think you will, John. I think you'll get it. I think ultimately, some people just naturally are captains, and that's what he is, isn't it? Alster saying, what do you think happens long term with the Lapstey? 2 young strikers coming in, he's out on loan, etc. Honestly, mate, I think he goes on loan. I'm hoping, obviously, he signed a long-term contract about a year ago. What I'm really hoping is that he gets good loans. I know that sounds really fucking obvious, but it's just true, innit? Give the guy a good loan, man. Give him a loan somewhere where he can excel. And look, what I really hope is actually he goes on loan somewhere and he scores 20-odd goals, and they go, and someone else gets him on loan in the Premier League. And we do what Chelsea did, with like people like Abraham and that, where they loan him out for 2 or 3 years and they score an absolute load of goals, man. Does that, scores 25, then he scores 30, and then City go, bring him back in the summer, just bring him back and let him see how he gets on. And, at this point he's 21, 22, and we've got this bullish, he's a man all of a sudden. Also, he's a little boy still in football terms, but he's grown up. That's what I want to see happen. I think loan's inevitable. I can't really see him hanging around with Alvarez and Haaland coming in. I'd love to prove it wrong for his worth, but Neil, we couldn't get Alphonso Davies, mate. We could never get Alphonso Davies. He's, Bayern wouldn't sell him. Yeah, Enzo Fernandez's stats in the midfield are really impressive, says Paco. The guy can also help Junior out of the club. Yeah, I actually like the look of it. But I don't think we're going to go for it, mate. I think he looks really good. I was watching some... I obviously have not watched him play in person. I was watching some YouTube videos, and Enzo looks really good. Here he does. Alfster asking, is there a route back into the first team squad long-term for Delap? Was it one way he'll be sold? What do you think at this point? Look, I think the best thing with Delap to do is just wait and see. There is a route, because you never know. You never know how these things develop. Say he does have 2 seasons where he scores 25, 30 goals. Like, in that point, you be really smart and you sell him to somewhere for 30 million with a buyback clause of 55. You know what I mean? So then all we do is pay 25 million back if you want him in 4 years after Haaland goes or something like that. You sell him cheap with a decent buyback. That's how you handle this thing. So then occasionally if Haaland does want to go in 4 or 5 years, we go to Liam. Do you fancy coming back, mate? Well, you would be a light-for-light replacement. I think that's how you do it. Maybe as well, maybe Haaland never settles, gets a long-term injury, Delap just stays, scores goals. You never know how things go. Football's a crazy thing. But I do honestly believe, he's got a big story to tell Delap, and I don't think we quite realise that yet. He's probably a little bit unfortunate that that obviously we signed 2 strikers. But that's football at the highest level. I think Liam is fantastic. He knows it. He knows I do. I told him personally. He's a great player, and I think he probably knows he's a good player. But obviously, he's played for Manchester City Football Club, possibly the greatest team in the world. They are one of the best teams in the world. So it's really, really hard to get through. And that's just how it is. And it's the same for McAtee as well, Monamela. McAtee's brilliant. I love the idea of him staying around and getting involved. What I do want to see is them all involved in preseason. I want to see him get game time, but it is what it is there. Injuries were unfortunate for Delap. I do think, go back to another timeline here with Delap, and you got to remember that in the pre-season friendlies last season, guess who was playing up front? Ben Knight, a little attacking midfielder that we sent on loan to Crewe. Ben Knight played all the pre-season friendlies as the striker, 5'6", midfielder, and he played there. So imagine Liam Delap hadn't got injured. He would have started all those games. He probably would have scored quite a few goals. And as a result of that, he probably actually would have started the Community Shield. I'm almost certain he would have started the Community Shield because he would have been in that senior academy player group. You know, like the way that Adozie started it. You almost certain he would have started too. And then imagine he started Community Shield and played quite well. All of a sudden, he might have been like playing 10, 15 games by January. It was just unlucky. It was just genuinely unlucky. But that's football. Genuinely, it was strange. I was watching the interview that it also took me to you. Did anyone notice, by the way? I was actually in the second part interview video. Like, they did a bit where they were talking about the American tour, and they cut to the American fans, and I think Paco, you were in it as well, mate. They cut to Paco's in the chat right now. They cut to a clip of the video when it recorded in Austin with the Austin supporters group at the Haymaker, and they cut to that. I was like, what the fuck? I was watching the interview, Chav's interview, and then my face appeared. He's watched that, hasn't he? Which is crazy to think about. Of course he's watched it. So yeah, Khaldoon's watched a video of my face like that, which is beautiful. I was right next to Khaldoon on the pitch, by the way. He was there walking around on the last day of the season. But I didn't want to ask Khaldoon for a photo. I thought it'd be a bit too much, so I didn't go there. Look, he's a bit too important to be doing that kind of stuff, so so I didn't bother. Well, he almost certainly probably does, Alfster, which is crazy. Khaldoon does. I'm not being arrogant there, but he'll pay attention to City media every now and then. It was Paco, I recognised it. I did see your face on it. He's majestic. He's fucking huge. Him and Soriano, man, they are beasts. Soriano's like 6'3", and he's just like, but he's broad as well, and so is Khaldoon actually. So they both hover over people. They've got an aura to them. They really do. Yeah, they do. They're cool fuckers. You know, when you see I saw like cheeky Soriano and Khaldoon walking, I was like, wow, that is literally the boys there, man. He legit mentioned that our content is good in City. He did indeed, so you would have watched the end of the day stuff. You would have watched me and Kel going, like fucking losers. So yeah, you would have seen it all. So Khaldoon, if you're watching, pal, can you pay for me to go to America? I'm kidding. I want to go to the friendlies. You know, get on the super chat, Khaldoon, mate. Go on. I know you're a billionaire. You can do it. I'm begging. I have no shame. I would love to go though. No, I won't go. I'll stay with the wife, who's at this point very pregnant. He does have an aura about him. Khaldoon. I hope he understands that I'm a sarcastic little fucker, and I mean well. Watch, imagine you just get this Khaldoon. Don't blackmail the channel now. I was only joking, pal. Do you reckon he's got a burner account, Ollie? God, that guy's so rich. You could buy the whole street I live on, couldn't he? You know, you could buy all of Ramsbottom. Imagine you just bought Ramsbottom. Khaldoon is a beautiful little market town just north of Bury, about half an hour outside of Manchester. Buy it, man. Buy it. Buy Ramsbottom and just let me be the mayor of Ramsbottom. That feels like a good deal, right? Yeah, buy Ramsbottom, Khaldoon, and I'll be the mayor of Ramsbottom. Oh, Alster, you beautiful man. Thank you so much, mate. That's really appreciated with the super chat, Alster. Thank you so much. I'm not going to lie. That is hopefully, if I have a good month, maybe. Who knows? I lived in Urmston for a bit, mate, Juicebox, so you can't come to me about Urmston. I went to Urmston Grammar, Juicebox, so there we go. So I can tell you what Urmston is. It definitely is not a poor man's Ramsbottom. It's the opposite way around. Alster, you're a legend. Maybe it will help if I get really lucky and the flights get really cheap, and maybe it will help, man. Thank you so much. Likely, that's probably going on some nappies for the future, baby. Thank you so much, mate. I don't know. I know. That's why I said it. I've done it with Welliker. Oh, do you know what? My best mate went Welliker, so it's a true story. He survived. I went to Urmston Grammar Sixth Form, and I went to St Ambrose in Hale Barnes I went to decent schools. I'll say I'm from Urmston. I'm from Lostock, Sandy. Lostock, Stretford, Urmston. The Traff Centre, the circle there, that way. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end it there. You're the same age as me. Who's your mate? Did you go to Welliker? David Selby is my best mate. Dave Hume. Okay, you went to... Yeah, David Selby is my best mate. You know him, Juicebox. But I'm going to start wrapping it up here because it is 10 o'clock at night and my wife's probably falling asleep now. I'm very pregnant and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'll end it there, guys. Thank you so much. I enjoyed that, and I'll be back hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully Haaland. Genuinely, please announce him. It'll be good. And awesome city. For now, though, have a good evening. Thank you for chatting. It's been wonderful. You're all beautiful. And I'm going to go play some more Elden Ring. Good mention, John. Yeah, I got Elden Ring and I died a billion times. I can't stream it on Twitch because I'm up here now in the studio, in this room. And my capture card is plugged into my camera, this camera here, so I can use it. And obviously my Mac's up here and the PS5's downstairs in the living room. So in a flat, it was all in one room together, but I can't stream on Twitch or that unless I've got until I get PC stuff, which is a fucking pain in the arse. So one day, I might have to buy a second PS5 one day, which is fucking pure like first world problems as I set up an office or something like that. But I'll get around to it eventually. And then a TV screen, not a monitor, and yeah, whatever. Right, anyway, good night. One day I'll do streaming again. For now, though, have a wonderful night. I love you all loads. In a bit, I'm gonna go play a game. City are champions. Just remember that in a bit.